Hello, you all, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Restart podcast. I haven't done an episode in 4 weeks, and if you didn't know, my son, my only son, has passed on to be with the Lord, and this is a podcast I never, ever thought that I would do. It is a topic I never imagined I would ever have to discuss. And it is with unbelievable sadness that I'm coming on today, but I feel that it is necessary to not only grieve the loss of my son, but to honor his memory. And I want to tell the world about him. I am determined to share his life and his death with everyone that I can, in the hopes that it will impact someone. It will maybe make someone else think twice before taking their own life. It will serve to raise awareness of not only suicide, but depression and the struggle that is mental health in this country. It will maybe give you a closer relationship with your own kids and your own family. Maybe this episode will draw you closer to Jesus, and I have to hope for that, right? But at the end of the day, God has kept me alive to bring a message to you. And I want you to know that I loved my son so much. He loved me so much. And I believe that if he was here listening, he would be so proud of me that I'm doing this podcast and I'm talking about him. And so, with that being said, I don't know how long this episode is going to be. I didn't plan it or rehearse it or write it out. I'm just speaking raw from the heart. And you don't have to feel sorry for me, but I hope that you can hear the love in my voice for my baby. So without further ado, my son was Jarrett Thomas Neely. He was born on February 26th, 2001, and I was in labor with him for 23 hours, and he was actually 10 days late. His first original due date was supposed to be Valentine's Day, February 14th, and then the doctor moved it to the 16th, and then from there, I gave birth on the 26th of February. He was 7 pounds, 9 ounces, and 21 3/4 inches long. Perfect, healthy, full-term baby boy. And from the start, he was perfect. I was a young mom. I had him at 21, and I didn't know anything about raising a baby because I was an only child and I had nobody else to look after. So Jarrett was my son, but he was also like a little brother, if that makes sense. But it was hard. It was definitely hard that first year. I was trying to adjust to having somebody else to take care of, and he was adjusting to me, right? But he became my companion. Everywhere I went, Jarrett went. Wherever I was, there he was. And he taught me how to be a mother. He taught me to grow up quickly. He taught me how to live for someone else other than myself and to be selfless. He taught me how to play, how to have fun again. He really allowed me to see life through the eyes of a child. And if you've never experienced that, it is something so magical and so eye opening because children are innocent. They are easily amused. They are pure and raw and loving. They don't love you conditionally based on your looks or your weight or what you do for a living. They love you just because. And I was so lucky and so blessed to have that with my son. He was obviously my firstborn and has been my only boy. Since I've had him, I've gone on to have two daughters, but Jarrett remains my only son. And he was the perfect child, never in trouble, never gave me any problems, never snuck out, never ran away, never was rebellious as a teenager, never drank, never did any drugs or cigarettes. He was a good kid in school. And he got his first job at Wendy's, and he decided after a short time there that he was going to quit that job and also at the same time drop out of high school in his sophomore year. So that did not sit well with me at the time because, of course, as mothers, you want your children to get education and go on to be successful, right? But at the time, I was like, oh, he's dropped out and he's quit school, can't have it. So I kicked him out and I had him go live with my mother. And from the age of 16 on, he lived with my mother pretty much full time. And during that time, I was going through a terrible divorce with my then husband, who was not Jarrett's dad, but had become a father to Jarrett. And there was domestic violence in that marriage. And so my ex husband went on to serve 5 years in prison. And as he was incarcerated, he really began to attach himself to my son. I would say around the age of 18, he started to call my son frequently from prison, pretty much all the time, and was basically grooming him. I like to say grooming because that's how I look at it, that's how I saw it. But he began to work on my son to really turn on me. And I do blame my ex husband for destroying our mother son relationship that we had had all of those years. And so I saw a significant change in my son starting around that time where he began to get more and more isolated. He was staying in his room a lot, not coming out really except to go to the bathroom or grab some food and then go right back in his room. He would sleep mostly during the day and then be awake all night. He started getting heavily into gaming and was playing live on the Xbox and was playing for hours and hours, probably more than I ever even realized, right? Especially at night. He was very guarded at that time. You all, I'm not sure why that recording ended. I'm so sorry. I did not intend for this to be in parts, but I do apologize. So, anyway, I will pick up where I left off. I'm so sorry.